wanted to talk about how it's adjusting to your new environment after you've lost someone can be very difficult because this is a place that you have lived together. Your most of your relationship, if not all of it. You've gotten married, you had plans, maybe you moved to another place later on, but wherever you are at the point where they die, that is their home. And then when they die and you come home to it, all of a sudden it's like you don't know what's going on. Because again, when you change from a widow or a widower, you lose your old identity. So you show up in this house, which you're supposed to be, and they're not there, and everything feels off and wrong, and this is not the way it's supposed to be, and you're feeling uncomfortable being there because again, you're not in your own skin, you're in a different person's skin. So it's difficult. And what I wanted to be able to bring up to you is because I wanted to share with you what I did and how I help create environments, and hopefully it'll help you as well. So when my husband died, it was completely unexpected. We're living in the top floor and the main floor of a house that we're renting out. The bottom was his desk, his office area, and then the rest of the house, just kitchen, living room, bedrooms, two bedrooms. What was it, two? Yes, it was two. It was very small. So we lived there for a while, but when he died, all of a sudden I had to deal with everything that was there that was still his, but not mine, and had to go through this. And so I was trying to go through notes before I came here to remember what that felt like, and what I did with all this stuff. Before I even touched his stuff, I had to make sure that the house felt more comfortable for me, because this was now my house. I had to be I feel comfortable, and I couldn't have any ghost, figuratively or reality, be around in the house, because I couldn't deal with it. I had to deal with me and my son, who was 2.5 at the point, and that's it. So it was focusing for a while to make sure that everything that I was there is because I wanted to be there. The first thing I did was we had a coffee table that my husband had brought a tour around the world with, well, and around Toronto at least, when he was moving everywhere. He moved in with us when he moved in and this place, and I hated it. This coffee table was disgusting. I could not stand it. So, of course, the first thing I did was, when he died, was I got rid of that thing. Now, there's another story in itself there, because that actually, I ended up burning it in eulogy for him, because, long story, I got rid of the coffee table. That was done. Went to IKEA. I got a brand new table. I went to my bedroom. Now, my bed, I couldn't get rid of the mattress because the mattress was big. It was beautiful. It cost me hundreds of dollars. It was in good condition. I didn't want to get rid of it. But I wanted to be able to feel comfortable sleeping there, even though I knew I was not sleeping properly and would take months before I actually could sleep again. And actually making this my own bed was very important. So what I did was I took the bed, so I couldn't get rid of the mattress. That was going to stay no matter what. But all the sheets that we had, all the comforters, not the comforter itself, but the sleeve, I got rid of all of those. I got rid of them all. And I kept them for a while to keep a scent until it left, and then I just tossed them. But I made everything brand new sheets. Brand new. This is mine, only my smell, only my memories. The other things I went through, it was a bit of bits and pieces of what were difficult. You'll find that, well, his office, for instance, he was living down in the main floor of his office, and when he died, I couldn't afford rent on my own, so I ended up deciding to take his office. It was on the main floor, and turn it into a room that I rented out to a friend of mine for the year to help cover the cost, which worked. But before I could do that, I had to get rid of his desk. I had to get rid of his really two big speakers. He's a DJ, and his DJ mixing case, which is very important to him. And those are things that I didn't want to keep because first of all, they're big, and I didn't have any use for them. But I didn't want to ditch them either, because DJing was such an important part of his life. And they're also expensive. I mean, this is good stuff. Why get rid of really good quality stuff? So I ended up putting a call out to all the DJs that I knew, and the ones that knew Mike best was the ones that I donated those to, so I know they're having another life. Books are really easy to go through, honestly. The ones that I wanted to keep for myself, I thought they were cool, I'd keep. All his ones that were special to him, that I didn't have any interest in reading, I just got rid of. Honestly, just why I had the room. Personal papers were not so easy. So that was a lot more painstaking, because that's when all his personal notes, and there's his finances and all this stuff. But when I'm talking about like personal papers, I mean seriously, his drawings, his diary excerpts, anything that he had jotted down, That was difficult because I had to go through that and say, okay, is this something that's memento or not? Or is this something I can toss or not? And that took a lot more work. There were some things that were very hard though too, right? The clothes. Clothes were extraordinarily hard. For those, what you want to do is literally go and pick out the ones that I feel the most like them, that you could actually see them walking away in. Keep those. I got rid of everything else. The ones I kept, they're still in a bag and they're in my basement, and I haven't actually opened them since. I know they're there. I'll look at them now and again, but I've never actually opened it and taken them out. So that was that. That was more difficult. The other things that we kept, his glasses. I kept his glasses because two reasons. First of all, he had just turned 40, and he was like, I'm going to turn 40. I'm going to lose like all my mental capacity and my physical health start going down. And of course, that was a year he ended up getting glasses for for reading, but he looked really good on them. But so that was a brand new thing. I'm like, A, I'm old now, and also because when I found him, he had crumpled over. He had fallen over on like this, so his glasses were like this. So I wanted to keep those too because it was, for me, it was important because it kind of linked the physical aspect to that moment in time, and just because they were nice. And he also looked really good on them, so I wanted to keep them. And the other ones I kept was a pocket knife. A pocket knife was something that was very important to him. So I kept it on me as much as possible because he always kept it on him. So I kept those. Those are basically the things that I did for myself. So let's kind of break it down a little bit because that was a lot. Oh, yeah, I know. It's stupid. 10 months later, it was like, yay, he made it to 40. Oh, damn. Well, there's that. Sorry, I'm a little. If you get to know me, I actually am a very playful person, and these are very very things we talk about. So if I make a kind of a dark humor, that's just how I am, and I'm hoping you can roll with it. So break it down. Basically, is that if there's the keep. It's the same basic premise as any kind of rubbish thing, right? It's the bring it all together, keep, toss, or donate. It's literally what I was doing. And that's what the same thing that happens to you. The hugest difference is because everything that you touch is going to have, except for, again, a lot of trash. There'll be a lot of trash. But when you go through the keep or donate, that's the stuff that can really be more nitpicky. And you're touching everything with them, it's going to affect you. Now, this is very important you do this, though, because you have to get rid of, I want to go on to your next life. I was forced to, unfortunately, and because I was there for just over a year after he passed, and my landlord decided to sell the place, so we had to move. So even though I did a lot of the stuff beforehand, I did the bedclothes, I did the goddamn coffee table. I did some of them more. Like his clothes took a lot longer to do, but everything else I had just left because I couldn't deal with it. But because I had to leave the place, I had to call everything. I had to go. Everything was mine, and everything was his, and kind of consolidate and do that whole process. And it was really bizarre because it was a lot of numbness because this had to happen, and a lot of emotional overwhelm and the stress of having to move and blah, all that. But it could happen, and we did it, and we went forward, and now you can too. Basically, what I was trying to say with that is that when I explained that, I was doing a podcast interview, and I was explaining that process to Jen, who was the podcast host, and she was like, "That's a really interesting way of doing it." And the idea of taking not just his stuff, and you go through, and not just look at your stuff that you have as well, because again, you've changed, right? You're a different person now. So go through your stuff and go through his stuff. Keep what is good that still fits with you and your memories of them and what you want to keep forward. Get rid of the rest that doesn't fit, and if it's valuable and you know it's important, you don't want to keep it, donate it. And then when that's stuff that you do keep, I personally, I mentioned, I have it on my altar, I have it on my shelves, and I have other places too. But I'm also very open and vocal about my husband, and I have pictures of him everywhere. I talk about him all the time as part of my life. So that might not be something that you are comfortable with. However, it's also important because if you go through all this, eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to feel comfortable being at home again. And a lot of this too comes with time, because you start creating your own memories that you're there, right? Every Christmas there's going to be another memory. Every summer there's going to be another holiday without them. but you're also making new memories. You're in those new holidays and the new Christmases and the new ever after that happens after that. Eventually, you're going to have to get to the point where you just need to let go. And knowing when you can do that is what is important for you. And again, everyone might be doing these things at different stages, but I wanted to reach out because I know you guys are going through, I know how it's difficult to do these things. If you need help at all to help you figure out how to do the first steps, or if you want me to sit down with you for 45 minutes to walk you through and to get you started, like let's say, like not Marie Kondo, what's her name? I'm not going to be doing that, but to help you, keep focused, keep only for that 45 minutes or even longer need be, or even like a check-in. I did this mostly off the cuff, and I did this because I started researching before this live about how to help create a comfortable, healthy environment for yourself after a spouse died. And there's nothing out there. There's nothing at all. There may be one thing about making a safe, comfortable spot for yourself, or space for yourself, which is good and it's true. But that's not what I was talking about. So I'm hoping that this was somewhat informative, that you got something out of this. Do let me know if you got anything out of this. And again, if you want someone to help you, like, be accountable or help you figure out the steps to how to get there, or what to go first, or even if you want me to sit down with you for that 45 minutes or whatever, Zoom, one-on-one, let me know. I'm here. And we'll go forward. Okay, guys?